Alrighty. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for having interest in this session. This is actually the first of many sessions that we will be having. If you're having difficulty in hearing me and seeing me, I will be sharing my screen. I have emailed everyone a standard agreement of purchase and sale. It's a basic with all the clauses. And it actually will assist you in understanding why I've sent this to you, as you can utilize it on web forms, and that will help us give us a base to create a transaction kit. Okay, I will be hosting weekly or bi-weekly webinars. This is actually our first step, where we would pick a property, we decide to type an offer, put in our standard clauses, and that's how we actually create a transaction kit, be able to download it, email it to our clients. Either or would be able to work that way. Okay. I know that there's many more attendees that I don't see signed in. However, I'm going to allow you to talk individually now by giving access. I'll call you and you can just reply and let me know if you're here. Okay. And you can hear me. Okay. Gordon, can you hear me? Gordon? Gordon, can you hear me, Gordon?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to
problem there initially.
Right, I will enable everyone to speak. Usually the webinars we do, I don't do that. However, I would prefer it because for these particular sessions, there are questions that need to be asked. Okay, so Gordon, you're on. Then I have Bavar. Okay. Bavar, can you hear me? One moment. Bavar, can you hear me? Hello?
Hello.
Hi, it's
Hello.
Celeste. Hi,
Celeste.
okay, so you can hear me, you can see me, that's perfect, okay?
Yeah, I can see you.
And then Nazilla, can you hear me? Let's see if Nazilla can hear me. Nazilla, can you hear me? Hi, okay, perfect.
Everyone.
All right, good morning. I'm just gonna go through the list, okay? I'm gonna allow Richard to talk now. One moment. Richard, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, perfect. Good morning.
Good morning.
Ross, can you hear me? Ross, Ross, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Perfect, amazing. Okay. Sonia, can you hear me? Sonia, can you hear me? Sonia?
Yes, I can hear you.
Perfect.
Good morning.
Good morning. Just gonna unmute. All right. Sophia, can you hear me? Got a big group today. They can't hear me. Sophia, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Perfect. All right. So, and Richard says hi. So I'm glad that I can have everyone speaking. And of course, just like if it was a live in-class session, I prefer it this way. Many webinars, they go through all the information, and then if people have a question, they're stuck on, you know, waiting for either the end of the session, being able to email. I don't prefer that. I prefer that we create an actual live webinar and we're going to set it as a meeting, okay? So if you do have questions, you can interrupt and just ask. Of course, if it's something that I'm going too fast, even better, you can let me know instantly on the spot, okay? So I'm going to share my screen with you right now, and I'm going to start the actual session so you have an idea of exactly where I'm going at with this, okay? So many of you have in-house that actually type your offers. There's times where you are at home. So the biggest struggle is getting onto MLS, using web forms, and then being able to, of course, create that transaction kit and send it to your client or send it to any digital signature program you have, being able to print it, okay? This is a first step of one of the many features that MLS actually has, okay? So the first step, can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
so the first step is to log on to MLS, okay? So we log on to MLS as our usual.
Hi,
For many
Celeste. Can you hear me?
Sorry?
Hi, Celeste. This is Wafa. Can you hear
Hi,
me?
yes, I can, Beth, I can.
Okay.
All right, so let's say we're ready to type an offer. We've shown the property. Our client calls us. Yes, I'm ready to type this offer, okay? Now, regardless if it is an offer, it could be a listing agreement. I'm gonna stick with the offer, which is the most frequent thing that we're actually gonna use when it comes to downloading all this information, okay? So right now, I click on search properties. We're going to pick a random property. You would obviously know what property you want to type an offer on, okay? So I'm going to click search. I'm going to stick local in the area, residential, available for sale, okay? So I'm going to click on continue, and I'm going to do my property search. I'm pretty sure everyone is good up until now because this is what we know how to do best, okay? So I'm going to select the detached, and I'm going to click on submit. I'm going to take not the one that costs $1 because that would be a dream. Okay, I'm going to pick this property here. Okay, so right now I have to type an offer on 74 Grand Oak Drive in Richmond Hill. I can leave this page open just because it is suggested to leave the page open, because as you open web forms and start typing that offer, you're actually going to always have access to this information, and it will always allow you to copy and paste. Therefore, you're not retyping, running the risk of a typo. You're actually working off of what the listing agent. So liability is not on you as much as it is on the realtor or the listing agent, okay? So from this page, once we're here, we know we want to type the offer. All we do is click back. You see the left tab here, home page. It won't remove this page. It will just add a tab, okay? So from our home page here, we're able to click on the right on web forms, okay? So we click on web forms and automatically we are on our page, okay, where we can create a transaction kit. So this is the big step. We've opened up. We know that this is the property we want to type our offer on, and then we go on to web forms. So property, home page, web forms, and it redirects us to this page, okay? When we're on this page, we would have past kits, like I've created, or you can go right here on this green tab with the plus create transaction kit and click on it, okay? So our transaction kit name is always suggested to be the property address. So we know that we're accessing it. We know what it refers to, what offer it is. We usually don't put clients' names. I mean, you could if you're comfortable with it, but down the road, you'll always remember the property address, okay? So again, 74 Grand Oak Drive. I go in and I start typing, okay? So there we go. So here it says, create transaction kit form. Usually we'll use a blank transaction kit, okay? An existing template or an existing transaction kit is something that you would create on your own, just like I'm creating this, where you could create a standard agreement to lease, standard agreement of purchase and sale, and you could work off of that. However, because this transaction kit actually gives us the option to create a transaction kit off of an MLS number, I would always suggest you using a blank transaction kit, okay? So right now I'm going to put the property address, a blank transaction kit. We are in the Toronto Real Estate Board. Client's email is an optional, okay? And then listing optional. Do you want this transaction kit to link by MLS number or by address? The best way to do it is to go back on your page, copy the MLS number like this, and paste it on there. Reason being we'll do this is because any information that should really be on the offer, such as the seller's name and legal description and correct spelling of the address, will automatically sync in. Okay, so if I click on create my transaction kit because I've named it, I'm on my board, I have by MLS number, I click on that and automatically it's created a status for me. You see, I have the MLS number, I have the address, I have a type of transaction, Toronto Real Estate Board, when it was created, and modifications because I'm still working on it, okay? So right now, although we have these side tabs here that we will get to once we actually type our offer, we're going to concentrate on the forms we need in order for us to create a complete transaction kit, okay? So right now I'm typing an agreement of purchase and sale. So it's obvious I'm going to need an agreement of purchase and sale, confirmation of cooperation, it's my buyer, a buyer representation agreement, and a working with a realtor. These are all forms that I will have to add to my transaction kit, in addition to others if needed, okay? So right now I click on this green tab, Add Forms. Click on the green tab, and it gives me search forms by names, okay, which these are all standard forms. The good thing about TREB is that web forms is actually a smart program, okay? If I start typing by either first three letters or the number of the form, if I know it, not many of us do, and I don't either, there's so many, but if I start typing and I put in agreement, you see what it does? It gives me any form that has the word in it of agreement, okay? So you see termination of agreement, tenant representation agreement, it gives me all of these. But if I actually type in agreement of purchase and sale, it will start coming up. So again, it'll give me always with the agreement of purchase and sale, but I can go in and actually find it. So here I am. So I'm at agreement of purchase and sale POTL. It's not common elements. It is a detached freehold. Agreement of purchase and sale for a mobile, modular, manufactured home. That's not the case. It gives me all the agreements of purchase and sale, okay? The one I'm actually looking for is my standard, the agreement of purchase and sale form 100. Now, I'm on this tab right now. If I go to the right here, and I want to make sure that this is the correct agreement, this little tab that's in the shape of an eye, if I click on it, it's right here. And I can start seeing, oh, okay, so this is the agreement of purchase and sale. Is this the form that I'm actually looking for? Well, if it is the form, I can close this. I have the option to print it, which I'm not going to do because I'm creating a transaction kit, or I can click on this plus sign. And this plus sign here, which is that tab, will automatically add my form to the transaction kit. So I click on add form, okay? And it shows that green check mark, which indicates that that form has been added to my kit. But then again, of course, I need a confirmation of cooperation. So if I start typing, in this case, it'll take it. It kicked me out. So it actually brought me straight to the form, okay? Again, I have the option to preview the form with the eye and see if this is correct. I have the option to print it, or again, I'll add it to my transaction kit. So I will, and I've added it, okay? Now I need another form. So we could go on, as long as we know the forms that we need, we can constantly add these forms, okay? And even in a second moment, if I need a waiver, if I need an amendment, I can always go back into this kit and add the form. So right now I need a working with a realtor, okay? And I started typing working with a realtor. These are all indicating this is a brochure type, just like the brochure type we hand to our clients. Usually when you're creating a transaction kit, you're going to use the one-page faxable, okay? If you're printing it, it's suggested more to use maybe the brochure. But with the one that you're going to create a transaction kit and download it to your client and email it to your client, it's suggested to use the one-page faxable, okay? So working with a realtor, one-page faxable, I want to make sure I'm grabbing the right one. It's not the commercial. I'm going to preview it again. And I see here, working with a realtor, fair enough to me. This is what I'm looking for. I can close it. And then I would go in and add it with my plus tab, okay? So right now I'll stick to these 3 forms. If you look on this page, at the top right-hand side, there's the green tab that says Done 3 Forms, which means I've added my agreement to purchase and sale, my confirmation of cooperation, and the working with a realtor form, okay? So from here, I can kind of understand if I was able to add all my forms. Once I've added all my forms, I'll click on Done, and this is what happens. It brings me back to my main page of the transaction kit, and it shows me all the forms I've added: agreement of purchase and sale, confirmation of cooperation, working with a realtor, okay? Now, this is where I will explain these side tabs for you, okay? Edit forms is actually, if we click on it, which we will, to go in and add the information on the forms. Add forms is if we get to this page and we realize, like I am realizing now, that we didn't add a form, I can go back in and click on the form. So I need a buyer representation agreement, okay? So representation, because then it gives me too many. So let's see. So here it is. These are schedules, buyer representation agreement, authority for purchase or lease. I'm going to preview it. Is it the one I'm looking for? Absolutely. Now, once you start getting familiar with creating your transaction kit, you'll also make your life easy by using this bottom tab, add and close. It means you've previewed it, it's the form you need, you click on that, and it's automatically in there, okay? If you don't practice on it, you always want to preview it, close it, and then add the plus tab. So you see here on this right-hand side how it has changed now. It's 4 forms. So it's added that extra form in. So now I'm complete. I can go back on where I was with clicking on Done, and I'm back in onto my main page. So I can edit the forms, which I will have to. I added the forms, so this is the tab. And then this tab here is attach files. So how many times are we typing an offer? We're representing the buyer, okay? And we have to attach the Schedule B, okay? It's not our Schedule B if we're representing the buyer. It's that listing brokerage's Schedule B, but we're downloading it from MLS. So I can go back on my MLS page, okay? In this case, this doesn't have schedules, but usually you would find a tab here that states schedules, where you could download it, save it to your computer, and then automatically attach a file like this and upload it. You could attach files or select files, right? So it would all be part of your transaction kit. And again, you would be able to add in the information, the name of your buyer, okay? You can print this form here with this tab. So instead of you actually going in, and typing everything, you have the option to print it and manually write it. How many of you actually do that? No one, but it is an option. If you want to just print the forms, have them as a standard, you could print them. You can email this blank transaction kit, and I'll tell you why this would happen, okay? When you're emailing, which I will show you after we complete it, it will give you the option for read only or editable. In this case, let's say you want to prepare all your forms but now you're at the office and you're waiting for your buyer to finish work at 5 and you won't be able to type the offer until 6, you can already prepare everything, which you have, and email yourself an editable form, which I'll show you at the end. You can download this package and save it to your computer. You can duplicate this transaction kit. You could duplicate it and name it something else. So you know that maybe you have 2 offers. You're not sure if your client wants either 74 Grand Oak or another property. You can start creating 2 packages for yourself and duplicate it without having to go in, create it again, and add all the forms, okay? Or you could delete. If you realize that you put in a form, and I click on that, if you realize that you either put in a form that you don't want or you want to delete the whole package, you can do this, okay? I'm not going to delete it, but let's say I didn't want the buyer representation agreement. I can go in and with this X tab here, remove the form, and it will ask me, buyer representation agreement, are you sure you want to delete this form? Deleting a form is permanent and cannot be restored, which means you would have to go back in and reselect the form. In this case, we're not deleting it. I'm going to cancel this, okay? So these are the apps. This tab here is actually very important, okay? Because you can send the kit to web forms, which means it will always be in your web forms. Or if you go to the App Store, you can actually link your transaction kits to these digital signature apps, okay? I will be having another webinar on AuthentiSign as well, which you could link your web forms to AuthentiSign so that once you've completed your transaction kit, you can send it to either one of these electronic signature apps that you are utilizing. So if you're using DocuSign, you can send it there. If you're using AuthentiSign, you can send it there, okay? Right now, we're not doing that. We're just creating our transaction kit. So I'm going back with my tab and I'm back on my transaction kit, okay? So right now I need to complete my agreement to purchase and sale. I have to start putting in the information. I need to prepare this offer. So I'm going to click on edit forms, okay? And as you can see, this is the part where regardless of where you're located, MLS, TREB, CREA, web forms usually is very slow, okay? So right now, I'm on this page to my left where I see my agreement of purchase and sale. But if I bring my tab down, I can start working on either one of these, regardless of what you want to start typing in, but it's there. When I said initially that we could actually, it's suggested that we create the transaction kit with the MLS number is for this purpose right here. You see, seller's name is spelled in because it linked in, right? If the listing agent or the listing brokerage spelled the seller's name incorrectly, doesn't depend on us. The address synced in exactly the way they put it. Their property, their legal description is synced in the way it is. And we would put in our information based on what our buyer wants. But this part here, which really doesn't depend on us, is linked in automatically, okay? So we're going to start typing the offer and we're going to click on this tab. Now these are all editable, so they'll give you standard calendars that come up. You would only pick your date. So today is May 27th and it syncs in. Buyer, I'll put myself as a buyer. Okay, so you can type in. Okay, these are the seller's names. Fronting on. Now, do we know where it's fronting on? That's why we have the benefit of keeping the tab of the MLS page. Okay, and we would go look for that information. So it's fronting on the west. See that W here? West side. So we would go in and we would put west side of Grand Oak, okay, in the town of Richmond Hill. Now here it gives me standards, but I can always type in my own, okay? So the town of Richmond Hill, it's already there, having a frontage of. Now, if we hadn't kept this open, we wouldn't know, right? But frontage, so we'll go in and we'll look on it, okay? It's 45 feet. Does everyone see that? 45. So we're going to go in and type it. And then a depth of, and again, we would go back to our listing, 83.1. So we can go in 83.1 feet, okay? This is their legal description, so we won't touch it. We would always pay attention though, okay, to see if there is a continuing part. Usually what happens is if the legal description is too long, you would find either an asterisk here or under brokerage remarks, you would find the continuing part of the legal description. In this case, this is the whole legal description, so we'll keep it as is, okay? So we're back onto our agreement of purchase and sale. Now, property is listed for $749. My client wants to offer it for $700, an offer for $720,000, okay? So I can start typing, and if I type, again, because this is smart, and I type in the price, I have the numeric part here, but if I click here, automatically it gives me the wording of it, $720,000. Sorry?
That's the deposit.
Oh, sorry, yes, I put the deposit, my apologies.
I like this deposit.
Thank you, I like it too, if it was my property though. But that would cause a lot of FinTrack issues, I'll tell you that. So right now, my purchase price, I've added in the numeric part and it gave me the wording, okay? Now, we're off to the deposit and it won't be as nice. So the deposit, the buyer submits it. It gives you, you can read the options here at the bottom. If you click on this arrow, it'll tell you right now, like the same thing you read here, you'll read it here. Herewith, upon acceptance, as otherwise described in this agreement. Usually, the two you'd be utilizing the most is upon acceptance. When we were in a crazy hot market, most of the times it was herewith, okay? So we're going to click on upon acceptance and it generates it. I don't have a spelling mistake. I don't have that issue of having to type it in unless otherwise described, okay? Is everyone on board?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Sorry? Everyone's good. So my deposit, for the sadness of many, I'll make it 40,000, okay? Very little, okay? Well, again, when I add my numeric part, the wording will pop up automatically.
Entirely, obviously, right? So, you know, Steve was mentioning that I might have to replace the roof.
Any questions from here?
Right, so.
Nope, fine.
That,
Nope.
you know, if you
Okay, because I hear speaking, so I'm not sure if everyone's okay.
No, I've lost. I can hear you. Can you hear me, Celeste?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, there you are. Okay. I don't know why it I lost you there for a minute. I could hear you.
Okay,
but
you
I couldn't
hear
see
me. Can you see me now?
Yeah, now I see everything.
Okay. No, because I hear someone speaking in the background, so I thought it was a question. Okay. So now, by negotiable, we're here to the deposit, negotiable check payable to. Again, why type in when we're probably going to make a mistake and our client will go to the bank and get the draft ready and we've made the typing mistake? We can click on back on the listing, okay? And we're going to copy by clicking on Zolo Realty Brokerage.
That would make
we're going
sense.
to copy it like that.
Right.
Copy, close, go back to the offer, and paste. Again, this is not our liability. We're just copying and pasting and making our life easier, okay? It's all remote. Now,
Celeste,
yes.
can the people choose also, let's say, I'm the selling brokerage that they go with a roller page? Or does it have to be the listing always?
So usually what happens is when it's offered by a listing brokerage, and we're talking about a real listing brokerage, not Comfrey, not Purple Bricks, right?
Okay.
They will hold their own deposit, okay? So we would make the check payable to the listing brokerage. There are times when it's either a FSBO, a for sale by owner, or there are times where they're listed with Comfrey. There you would have either the option, you as the buyer, agent, and brokerage to hold the deposit, or there are times where that seller that is not represented by a realtor will then have that deposit held with a lawyer. Okay? But usually the standard is the listing brokerage holds the deposit.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Okay, so unless there's another scenario, like I said, either for sale by owner, a COM-free, a purple bricks, where they don't take that liability, or they might not have trust accounts, at that point, it could be that the buyer brokerage would actually hold the deposit. Okay, but 80–90% of the time, the listing brokerage does hold the deposit.
I had a client who did not feel comfortable with a small brokerage and rather preferred Royal LePage.
Yes.
So it can be done. I said, no, it's always the listing. I just wanted to be sure.
It could be done, but you would have to put that request to the listing agent, stating of the fact that they're not comfortable. Again, that brokerage would probably say, okay, then let's have the lawyer hold it in trust. Okay. Either or, you can always work it out. I know that sometimes when you're dealing with smaller brokerages, that's what happens. But again, we also have insurance. There's things that the client either way is always protected. If anything, the realtor always gets in trouble. Okay. So we're at this point now, Schedule A here. Again, if we had the Schedule B, we would type in Schedule B.
So I guess
If we added maybe a survey or a Schedule C, type Schedule C. You can add and word it as much as you want, as long as there's space for it. Okay? Now, when we come to the irrevocability, again, the tab is smart. So if I click here, it's irrevocable by my buyer, okay? And then I'm going to pick the time it's irrevocable until. So it's irrevocable until AM, PM. I'll do 6 p.m. tonight. So I click on PM, and I go in and I type the time and the date. So I'll do tonight, which is the date. If it was tomorrow, it was the 28th. So tonight, and then I'll put a completion date. So I'm filling out the offer exactly how I need it. Let's say the closing date, I'm struggling. I want it 30 days from now, but then maybe the 29th was a good date, but it's a Saturday. So I'm going to move it off to the 28th, which is a Friday. Okay, so I click on that, and it automatically populates the whole date. Okay, then I scroll down, and I would check. So for email address, documents to the seller, I have the email. Why? Because I've linked it to the TREB MLS number. I'm going to put in my email here. I'm going to use the Academy. But the realtor would put your name and your email. The only time you won't do that is when you're double ending it or it's multiple representation. Okay? This is just on another note. But you would. So now we've come to the part where the chattels are included. Okay? Again, are we going to go in and type that? Doesn't make sense. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our listing, and you see where we see all the extras here? We're going to copy and paste them all. Here it is. Okay? And what we have to keep in mind is that on an offer, we shouldn't be short form. Okay, so we're going to adjust it with the format. So KitchenAid fridge, KitchenAid, we can remove new, or we can leave it. It's always best to leave it. KitchenAid dishwasher, stove, Bosch washer and dryer, all electrical light fixtures, Hunter Douglas in California shutter window coverings. You see, we're going to fix it so that we have it on there. Pool table, basement wall unit, garden shed, cold room, cantina / we can leave that, garage door openers, and remotes. So we've made our life easy now because we're not here typing, flipping back and forth, making mistakes. We've just come here, copied this, and pasted it, and of course filled in all the short forms that were not needed. Okay? Now we go to the other tab, which is fixtures excluded. Again, we have our listing open. We can go in and see if they've excluded anything, which I don't see here. Okay? We click back onto our offer, rental items. Now, usually they should be putting any rental items, like a hot water tank, if there is one, a rental. If you don't see it here, you can leave it blank. Again, up to the listing agent to provide that information, or you can be proactive and giving a call to him or her first, okay? But if it was, you can automatically type it in, okay? Oh, and you can put the amount, okay? And it says it here, the following equipment is rented and not included in the purchase price. So as long as those things are cleared amongst yourselves, you can always go in and make the change, okay? HST, now usually it's a residential, freehold, it's included. If you're dealing with a commercial offer, we all know that's a whole different thing. And then there's odd times when the HST is not included. Again, that's disclosed amongst yourselves and you would adjust it accordingly, okay? Title search usually is a minimum of 15 days before the closing date. So if we put June 29th, we're going to make our closing date on a weekday, but we'll probably do the 14th, you see? And the good thing is it opens this calendar tab where we're able to see if it's a weekend, a weekday. We would have to know if it's a holiday, but at least it can guide us on that. So I'll put June 14th. And then the present use of the property, I'll put single family residential, okay? Again, you could only put residential. Whatever the wording is that you feel comfortable with, that's the wording you could use, okay? These are all standards. We won't touch those. And again, we're going through the offer, okay? I'm checking here. I'm using an administrator's authenticator, but obviously your information would pop up, okay? It didn't give me a Santayefi. I copied on the wrong one, okay? So right now you would see this part, we're not going to touch it. There's a listing brokerage, there's a buyer brokerage. These are acknowledgements for your clients, commission trust agreement, you would sign it. So right now you see, you're on the Schedule A, it's automatically synced in, buyer's name, seller's name, address, you have all that information. So if you all look at the offer that I've emailed you, and I'll show you it here, okay, because I have it. Does everyone see it?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
See my screen? Okay. I'm going to scroll down to my Schedule A, exactly what I need. So this is my first clause that I need. The buyer agrees to pay the balance of the purchase price subject to adjustments, okay? Now here comes the tricky part, and this is why many realtors don't type their own offers, okay? But it becomes really simple if you understand that, again, Web Forms is a smart app, and it will sync in by keywords, okay? So buyer agrees to pay the balance. Keep that in mind. I minimize it, and I go to this tab here, Insert Clauses. If I click on Insert Clauses, it says, sorry, Custom Clauses, which I don't have, or Clause Library. Clause Library is all the clauses that are RECL and TREB compliant available to the realtors that are part of the Toronto Real Estate Board, okay? So if I start searching, again, I'm looking for the clause that says that the buyer will pay the balance of the purchase price. So the keywords that I'm going to be using is not the buyer, right? I'm going to be using balance purchase price. But look at this. If I start typing here, balance, see what comes up? Deposit payable balance of purchase price. Now that rings more of a bell towards seller take back mortgage. But to be sure that this is the right clause, again, I have the tabs here. I can click on the I and I can preview it. And it says exactly, the buyer agrees to pay the balance of the purchase price subject to adjustments. Am I going to use this clause? Absolutely. So I'm going to click right here, add and close. Okay, so I put in my first clause. I don't see it, but it's there because on this tab, it actually says next, the right-hand side, one clause. So right now I've added one clause in, okay? So I need to add my second clause. So I'm going to look, you would probably have a pre-typed or something in your hands. I have it on my computer so I can minimize and switch back and forth. We're not closing any tabs, we're just working off of them. So right now I have the offer is conditional upon the buyer arranging at the buyer's own expense a first mortgage, okay? So again, I'm gonna look for my keywords and I'm gonna put first mortgage. And so it won't give me it because it gives me seller take back, all right? So I'm just going to look for that one keyword, which is mortgage. Okay. And you see, you're going to look at them, but we know that our buyer has to arrange a first mortgage. So just by reading it, arranging a new mortgage. Wow, this sounds pretty close. Let me preview it. So I preview it, and there it goes. The offer is conditional upon the buyer arranging. Now, you see where you read here, insert text. Why is that? Because you will have to go in and insert the text. Of course, you will have to know how long of a condition you need, how many days, if there's percentages, if there's dollars. Once you've added this clause, don't be afraid of all the insert text, because you go back onto your offer and you can make the changes. Okay? So this is the clause I'm looking for. I'm going to add and close it. Okay? I'm going to do the same thing for inspection, because my next clause here is actually my inspection. Okay? So again, just to get you into this, I'm going to go by keyword, inspection, and it will come up. Okay? So there's inspection of property by a home inspector, inspection of property by a home inspector, general inspection. One is a condo, one is a general inspection. Again, freehold detached, this is not a condo. I will preview my clause. If it looks good to me, or I know that I can work off of it and make changes and personalize it, then I'm going to add and close. Okay? So this could go on until you've completed your offer, which I have more pages to. The seller agrees to provide the seller's expense. The buyer shall have the right to revisit the property 2 times. All those clauses there can easily be found in that area through keywords. Okay? So right now, let's say I've added all my 6 clauses, or really I've added 3. Okay? I can go here on this right tab on the green part, and I see that I've added 3 clauses. Okay? So they're fine for me. I'll click on next, and look what it does. Okay? It has me preview them, where I could actually add in the information here, which I never suggest you do because it gets really confusing. Or I can re-look them over. They look good to me. If I'm missing a clause, I can click on add more clauses. Okay? If I don't want a clause because now I'm reading it thoroughly, I can remove it by clicking on this X. Okay? Right now, they all seem fair enough to me. I'm going to click on insert. And it adds those clauses directly into my Schedule A. You see that? It's brought me back down to my Schedule A, and I have it. So the buyer agrees to pay the balance of the purchase price. So that's 1. Now, when I go to this offer is conditional, upon the buyer arranging at the buyer's own expense a new, you see this space here? I can click on it, and I can bring back my information. Is it a new charge or a new mortgage? A new mortgage, so I don't need a charge, and I can make that. Do I want to state the dollar amount? There's no need to. It's a standard clause. Trev just wants to make our lives hard. So we remove that, okay? And then bearing, semi-annual, not in bands, repayable and blended monthly payments. This whole part here is not needed because we're not stating an amount. But again, like you see, I can remove these clauses. I can personalize it. I can do whatever is needed, okay? So we can do that. So we can move it not later than, how many days do we need? Do we need 5 business days from today? So let's say no later than 5. See how we can type in 5 p.m. on the, let's do 30th. We'll keep it like that. 30th day of May 2019. Okay, that this condition is fulfilled. So we've played around with it. We've made it simple. We've made it straightforward. We can make changes. We can add days. We can work on these clauses. Trev just gives you standard as per Trev rules and regulations. Okay, and RECO. Again, the offer is conditional for the inspection. So again, we can go here. This is a standard. we'll do 5 p.m. Okay. Now, instead of you, gosh, okay, delivery or notice. Instead of you actually putting in a date, which usually you don't have to, you can actually type in on the, you would do it numeric first. So you're right, okay? And then you can put in brackets, 5th. What I suggest is when we're typing in days and dates, to always add the numeric and the wording, okay? Makes everyone's life easier. You know, we could think we're doing the easiest transaction in the world with the happiest sellers and buyers, but down the road, little mistakes can actually haunt us, okay? And we're liable for them because the buyer, the seller, if either one is not happy, the realtor is always blamed, okay? Good times, bad times. The good is theirs. If the seller sells well and the transaction goes great, his property or her property was fantastic. If the buyer gets a good deal, the buyer was amazing. As realtors, we always try to protect ourselves, okay? So you would add in the wording. Again, this offer here, say we had added in all our clauses. We go back to this tab here, and we're ready to fill in by clicking the confirmation of cooperation. Because I've clicked on it, it will redirect me to this page, okay? Again, because I've synced in the information, I've typed it in manually, I can go in, listing brokerage, based on what it is. In this case, it's cooperating. I click here. I would add the commission, right? Always add your HST because I've seen quite a bit. And then here it is. All the information is here, okay? So right now, let's say I've completed this offer, okay? And this is the most important part that you want to hear. You have the option to spell check. Never do that because when you're doing that, it'll give you mistakes on Schedule A that are really not mistakes, okay? You could, but if you're typing in something, wording that's real estate related, it will give you error. There's no need. You can always go in and review your offer and check what you've written on the schedules, okay? It's always recommended anyway. You have the option here to print the form. So if you're not going to email this offer and you're probably going to fax it, you would print it. If you're going to keep it for your own sake, you would click on this tab and you can print it. Then we have download kit, okay? Download kit, you can download it, which I will let you do. Editor settings. If you click on this editor settings, it says the font you want. So when you're typing, font size, usually it's 10 to 11. Trev won't allow you to type on a 22. Highlight fields, yes. Autocomplete, no. Which means when turned on, data previously typed into this kit can be automatically populated into later fields. This is accomplished by starting to type the same characters as the previous field into a new field. You never do this. You're always going to go through each tab in each field of the offer and set it in and fill in the information, okay? So right now I'm done. I have the option to download this kit from here, or if I click on done editing, which is this tab here, it brings me back to the page, okay? So again, it brings me to my transaction kit page where I have all my forms that I've completed. So now what am I going to do with these? Of course, if I'm sending it, like I said, to an app program, I can just click on here. And if you link your transaction kits to an app program, then automatically it would say send to AuthentiSign. You could send it. In this case, we don't have that. We're going to download it and either email it to our clients or to ourselves, and I'll show you why. If I click on download, this is what it gives me. Download kit. Select the forms and file attachments you would like to download. They will be combined into a single PDF in the order they are shown on the list. Now, let's say I don't want to email my client the buyer representation yet. Okay, I can unclick it. In this case, I'm discussed it with my clients. They're fine. They're waiting for the offer. I can click on it. And when I go to the bottom tabs here, it says download read only or download editable. This is a big difference. If we're emailing it to our clients and it's ready to go for them to either print or use their own electronic program, you suggested that you download read only, where they cannot make changes. If you're going to email it to yourself to be able to make changes, like I said, you're preparing the offer in the morning and your client won't be back from work until 5 p.m. He said, we'll discuss it then. You're going to download an editable PDF. So right now, I'll show you what that looks like. So if I click on that, okay, it'll start downloading. This editable PDF is exactly what you're seeing on the actual web forms, but it will be in your email so that if I want to add my husband on here, and I'll say to you, you know what, let's put my husband on there. So I'm going to put John Smith, okay, on there. The realtor, even at 5 p.m., if he's sitting at home or she or any of you are sitting at home, you can go and make those changes and still email that offer, okay? So once I've downloaded in an editable format, I'm going to right-click, Save As, and I'm going to save it, 74 Grand Oak Drive on my desktop, and I'm going to save it, okay? Now, if I'm working from a laptop, I can leave it on my desktop, okay? But let's say I wanted to email it to myself, okay? So I've downloaded it, and I can email it. So now I've downloaded it, but I can also email it to myself because it can always be in my link, okay? I'm going to click on email, and again, this is the email address it will go to, okay? If you click here, it says separate multiple email addresses with a comma or semicolon, which means if there's two buyers and one is in Chicago and one is in Toronto, you can email this offer to both of them, okay? I'm going to email it to myself for now, okay? And I can email it to another person. So let's say I'm going to email it to my personal as well, okay? I'm typing in the email. The subject is there, the property address. I can type the message. So if it's coming to myself as the realtor, and I know that I will have to go back in and work on it, I don't really need to type a message. But if I'm sending it to Celeste and John, my clients, I can type here, hi, Celeste and John, and so forth. And I could please review the offer, advise if the conditions. You can type anything you prefer. You can check the font. You can do spell check. This is your area where you would send them the message, okay? The bottom here, you would select your forms. Again, just like when you're downloading it, you have the option to select what forms you'd like to send at the moment. If it's all of them, you would keep them all selected. If you want to remove one for now, you can untick it, okay? Just like this. Then you have the options. Again, read only or request a read receipt. So read only, if I untick this, my clients will get an offer that they can go in and make the changes, okay? But right now, I'm going to send a read only because it's my client. Would I like to request a read receipt? Absolutely. Request a read receipt is that they've received it. And when they open that transaction kit and view the offer, you will be notified immediately, okay? So you'd click on request a read receipt. Now, if you had other files to attach, let's say while you were typing the offer, the listing agent was a good listing agent and sent you the survey in advance, okay? You're not going to attach it. You didn't attach it as a schedule, but you want your clients to review it as well. You can click on select files and it redirects you to your desktop or anywhere you would have this information, okay? But right now, I've completed it, completed my offer. I'm ready to, I created my transaction kit. I'm sending it off to my clients. So I'm going to click on send email, okay? And basically, this is what your clients will be seeing right here, okay? So in this case, it's coming from an administrator because I'm utilizing an administrator authenticator. But your clients would be seeing your name as a realtor. So if I click on this, here is the email your clients are getting. Hi, Celeste and John. You see if I would have typed it, it would have been complete. Here is a link to open your read-only forms. PDF viewer is required to view the item. You click here to access your forms, but then to view the above forms, you would need Adobe. For privacy and security reasons, this email will expire in 7 days. So the email for your client will expire in 7 days. Your transaction kit will last as long as you want it. Trev does never actually tell you your memory is full, your storage is full, you need to remove it. You'll always have this transaction kit for you to reference on. If it's a particular offer, you use certain clauses, you'll always have it. But your client and yourself in the email, this will only be available to them or yourself for 7 days. So your client receives this email, clicks on the link, and is able to access the forms. You see? Now, we gave them read only. If we would have allowed them for editable, they would have had all tabs here highlighted where they could actually go in and make changes. Again, if you're sending it to a client, it's a read only. If you're sending it to yourself, amazing that you have the option for it to be an editable form. So I'm going to go over quickly everything, okay? We have the listing. Once we have the listing, and I'll close this page, we know that we're going to put an offer on this property. We're going to click on home page from here. Home page from here, we go to web forms. Web forms, automatically, you see our kit, it's saved there along with all the other kits we have, right? These are all our transaction kits, but your kit is there. But again, if you want to create a transaction kit, you click here and you add your forms from there, okay? So this is just a matter of practice. You could actually start creating transaction kits of your own with personalized clauses and offers and utilize those and duplicate them every time you'd like to type an offer. Many realtors do that. But this is actually the first step for you to be able to type your own offer, create a transaction kit, and service your clients by sending it to them. Okay? So I'm not sure if anyone has questions, but feel free to do so. If there's anything that you want repeated, I'm more than happy to help you.
That was fantastic. I love that.
Oh, okay. I'm glad I helped, but I will be sending an email to everyone. I'm going to send you further to my email that you all have, also my cell number. What I want to create is, as you all know, I coordinate the Real Estate Academy, and I do a lot of training, and I do one-on-one as well, not coaching, training for certain things, but I'm going to implement webinars. So I will also be providing my cell number for you to contact me in the event you're practicing something or you're stuck in the moment and you're not able to get in touch with a manager and you need help on these particular apps, e-signature programs. My next session will actually be how to link your transaction kit to AuthentiSign. And my final session will be how to prepare a proper CMA, going through GeoWarehouse and public records. I find that a lot of realtors, junior, newer realtors, they go to the TREB MLS session, but they really don't get the grasp of it. And they find themselves stuck on even doing a simple search on MLS, which will then affect how you can deal with your offers. And overall, it will affect how you can do a CMA. My webinar will show you how to create a CMA in less than an hour. If you get called at 6 p.m. on a weekend, and they're going to say to you, listen, you know what? I want you to come in and give me a home evaluation. With the method I will introduce you onto, you'll have a template. It'll take you not even an hour, and you'll give them complete information of everything they need to know.
I definitely need that.
So we will be going on webinars. Like I said, the next one is June 3rd, and then we move forward. I will email them out, and then whoever is interested is more than welcome to email me, and I will add you on with the link.
Okay. Celeste, can I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
When you were towards the end of the forms, you were in a little box called editor settings.
Yes.
There was the first part was form where you could choose your font.
Yes, right here.
And then the next one was global. Yes.
Yes.
You said highlight fields. Yes. Autocomplete. Always no.
Yes. Because I'll tell you, when it's turned on, if you read it, it says data previously typed into this kit can be automatically populated into later fields. So what happens is this is also useful and very useful when you're duplicating kits. But right now, you're not doing that. I'll give you an example. You type this offer, duplicate the kit, the information from here will go on there. But I don't suggest that. I suggest that you duplicate the kit, okay, with maybe buyer's name, that information, but not all the information, because each property and each TREB MLS property listing is different. So
Sure.
you'll need to have the highlighted fields, but not that they auto-complete the information.
Okay, great.
The information always needs to be inputted by us and reviewed carefully by us. That's our liability. So the only thing I can suggest always is to keep the tab of the property like you see it here open, but at the same time, you're going to make sure that whatever you're putting in is going to be carefully reviewed, because once you've sent it off to your client and once you've sent it off to the listing agent, chances that you can go back on a mistake are really hard. So the basic information, names, by putting TREB MLS number, you're going to get that. That liability is off of you. Chattels included, correct spelling of the brokerage, legal description, all that information, you're syncing it in. But when it comes to clauses, prices, deposits, the way it's delivered, that all has to be done by us as realtors on our end.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, I had one other question
Yeah.
where it discussed property type, and I think you put in single detached residential,
I put single family residential.
single family residential.
But you could also just put in residential.
Could you also just leave it blank and it would assume whatever was in
No.
the MLS?
So when you actually take your exams for license, in your phase 3, you will actually get, and a lot of people do and usually they don't, but it's a part of the book that's not covered as much. But as per TREB, GRIA, CREA, and overall RICO, the nature of the property is mandatory to be specified.
Oh,
Yes. There's many properties that are, and Sophia, you can support me in this because I know you do pre-construction, okay, that are 2 zoning types. Main floor, main and upper is like 3-story is residential, and then ground level is commercial. Okay? So if I'm going to sell that townhome as a residential, but truthfully it can be used as both, then I must specify it. Okay? This home is entirely residential. So we always need to add that tab in there, and it's highlighted. Where it's highlighted, usually it's mandatory.
interesting.
Okay? But absolutely, you will always specify the zoning type of that property. And like I said, I put in single family residential, you can leave it with residential. If it was residential commercial, you could add that both and specify it on Schedule A, what portion of the property is commercial. If 80% of the property is residential and there's a portion commercial, you would do it on a residential form. If it's 80% commercial, then you would have to put in 2 offers. There's many ways to work around it, but you would always specify the zoning of the property.
Okay, we were told differently, but good to know. Thank you.
No problem. Any other questions?
Perfect. Thank you so much.
No worries. Thank you. So I'll be sending an email to everyone. I hope you enjoyed. I'll send an email with my cell number. If you want to start practicing, send me kits. I'm more than happy to receive them. I can review them, and I'll give you my cell number in the event you decide to start typing your own or creating your transaction kits, and I can do it.
Oh, that's great.
Okay?
Celeste, if I can
Yes.
add something, it's Gordon speaking. When I initially logged into this program,
Yes.
I got a pop-up which told me that the sessions begin at 1:30 p.m. I
Oh,
don't know
yeah,
if
the
other
same.
people got the same pop-up.
well, see, I see everyone on.
Actually, the same thing happened to me too. When I opened the
Yes.
Zoom, it said
1:30, yes, it's
1:30.
You know what? I think they have the Eastern Central, and it gets mixed up. But this is also moving forward. So it's a great thing you said that, Gordon.
Okay.
The time I email out and the time that's on the calendar and on the schedule is the time that you stick to, regardless
Because
of
I almost walked away from my computer.
Oh, I'm
Coming
sorry
back at
about that. I'm
1:30.
sorry.
Then I said to myself, you know what? Let me just try this again.
I am so sorry about that. I will look into it because Sandra had mentioned something about her coaching as well, where they were getting confused.
Okay.
So I will email Zoom support. But just to keep in mind, if they don't rectify it or if it's ever glitchy,
Mm-hmm.
stay reassured that the time I put on there is the time we start.
Yes.
And if there are any changes, you will be notified via email by me.
Right, because you are in Toronto, so it's not going to be as if you're going to be on the West Coast. And
Right, but I think
Right.
that's the timing they have there.
yes.
So I'm going to have to look into this, absolutely. And thank you for bringing that to my attention.
Okay, you're welcome.
Okay?
Thank you very much for this
All right.
session.
Thank you all. Thank you all. Looking forward to having you on to my future sessions. And I'll send an email out shortly to everyone. Wishing you a beautiful day. It's sunny out. Let's hope it sticks like that for a while. But like I said, if you ever need, I'm a phone call and email away.
Celeste, thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for today.
Thank you.
I have one question. Can I
Yes.
ask a question? Okay, is it possible to send the record of this webinar? We want to
Absolutely.
review.
Absolutely. That's going to be part of my email as well. It's going to be a link, not an editable one, just a viewer one.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for today.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay. I'll see everyone and looking forward to hearing from you. Okay.
Okay, have a
Thank
good
you.
day.
Have a good day. All right. Bye. Bye.